This podcast contains coarse language, adult themes, and content on the more violent and disturbing side. Listener discretion is advised.
I do a lot of adult modeling, and I do adult films as well, and I'm pretty comfortable in front of the camera, so I'm doing it for a while, and it's been working out pretty good for me. So,
Histrionic personality disorder, or HPD for short, is defined as a pattern of extreme attention-seeking emotions, including inappropriately seductive behavior and an excessive need for the approval of others. They need people to love and adore them. People with HPD need a high level of attention. They exaggerate their behaviors and emotions. They crave stimulation like a drug addict craves their next hit. On May 25th, 2012, a video titled "One Lunatic, One Ice Pick" was uploaded to bestgore.com. Material promoting the video appeared online 10 days prior. The video depicted a naked man tied to a bed frame being stabbed repeatedly with an ice pick and a kitchen knife. The 1987 New Order song "True Faith" plays in the background, and a poster for Casablanca is hung on the wall. The man was June Lin, an international student from Wuhan and an undergraduate in the engineering and computer science faculty at Concordia University in Montreal, Quebec. Lin moved into a Griffintown area apartment with a roommate on May 1st, 2012. The last anyone ever heard from him was through text messages the night of May 24th. His fate was sealed when he met Luka Magnotta. But there's much more to this story. So open your eyes and gaze into the abyss as we delve deeper into Canada's Crawlspace.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, so given the choice between a talking dog that solves crimes or a wisecracking robot that cleans your house, what do you do?
What do you do?
Yeah,
Or
which one do you take?
choose?
Not which one. Not which one do you do? Which
one
do you
has-
Be real
Which
careful
one
how
do
you
you
word
take?
things.
I don't know. I love Scruff McGruff.
Yeah, but I mean, so think of the intrinsic value between the two. You have a talking dog that solves crimes.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, you could use him for entertainment purposes. You could go on tour with a talking dog. Just the fact you have a talking dog, but it's not going to clean your house. Or you have a robot that cleans your house.
Well, I already cleaned my own house.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have to.
If you're on
Did
tour,
you
though,
have to do a bunch of cleaning this weekend, Corey?
No, well, I do, like, still, but just when you have a little big mess, and you sometimes wish you
Sucks
had
to clean it.
a robotic maid.
we know what your choice is, apparently.
I think I would take the talking dog.
Yeah, but with a talking dog, you also go to a robot. A robot will, I mean, aside from general maintenance, it'll live forever. A talking dog might live for 7 or 8 years before it dies.
But you can make some money off that. Like, you've got the tour of the talking dog, and you have a built-in private investigator there that you can make money off
You
of
can,
as well.
so-
and you can buy your own
Then you
house
buy a
cleaning
maid.
robot.
That's true, or you could just have a house cleaning robot that cleans your house forever.
But if you're on tour, you don't even need someone to clean your house.
Yeah, but you're only on tour for 7 years. Then what do you do?
That's why you buy the maid after that.
So you would go with the talking dog?
I would too. Talking crime-solving dog.
Yeah, I would teach him how to crime.
Well, he knows how
solve
to crime solve. You don't have to
that's
teach
part
him.
of it. So it is basically
He'll
just Scruff
teach you
McGruff.
how to solve crimes.
Well, there's my retirement.
But he'll teach me how to solve crimes by taking a bite out of other crimes.
He's like, well,
Zing.
Scruff McGruff or Scooby-Doo was more what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Just, You know, like
I went for like completely like
Complete-
human brain.
yeah, which
I was
is
thinking
alright.
Batman in like
Yeah, well, it
dog
could.
canine form.
Didn't Batman have a dog that solved crime? Didn't no.
Ace the Bat Hound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I figured as much. And then there was Crypto
I knew
as well.
Jesse would know that as soon as you started saying that, because I'd never even heard of that.
There was also an imp. Batman had an imp from was it the seventh dimension?
Wherever where Mixoplict is from. I think it's a,
Batmite.
Yep.
Yeah, that existed too.
Oh, good.
There's actually a bat cow too.
Was there?
Yeah. There's Damien, Batman's son, had a bat cow. I don't remember what its name was, but it might have been just Bat Cow.
Bat cow. Oh god, this is indeed Canada's crawl space. That's what we're getting into. And I'm Sean.
And I'm Corey.
And I'm Jesse.
That was a little bit better, eh? That was a little bit better of an intro, just right to the point.
As
Better than last time.
I like last time. It was good.
Yeah. So we're talking about Luka Magnotta today, and this I was working right up to right before Jesse got here, at 5 today.
There was a lot of stuff to go through for
Yeah.
this.
And I still only got 5 pages, so we should probably get right into it then.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah. So I'll start with the city stats. Montreal is the most populated city in Quebec and is the second most populated city in Canada. It was originally called Ville-Marie. Is any of you guys French?
I think you're on the right track.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Or City of Mary. It is named after Mount Royal, which is the triple-peaked hill in the heart of the city. In 2016, the population of Montreal was 1.7 million. There was that's just the total population. There was something on there about the metropolitan or whatever. Metropolis. Is that what it was?
Metropolitan area.
The Metropolis.
And that's 4.5 million or something like that.
So that would be all the suburbs and everything.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So 49, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
49.8% of people speak French, and I've heard that they will be pretty damn snooty to you if you speak to them in English.
Have you ever seen that video of that hand model? And
don't
she's
think
she's on the news, and the woman interviewing her tries to do her own hand model gesture.
No, I haven't seen
And the hand model looks at her like she just took a shit on her chest.
So
that's how
so
upset she was.
that's how the French
probably
people-
that's probably how they react
Okay.
when you speak English.
22.8% speak English, and 18.3% is all other languages. Good breakdown on the other languages, Wikipedia. 59% of the population can speak both English and French, making Montreal the second largest primarily French-speaking city in the world, next to Paris. And don't people from France hate French Canadians? That's what I've heard.
Is it because French Canadians are more arrogant than people from France?
Could be. It very well could be. Nice. So there's a lot of notable people from Montreal. So I just went down the line and picked the few that I kind of recognized. Jay Baruchel, he's television and movie actor. He was in Goon, How to Train Your Dragon, This Is the End, Knocked Up, and countless others with what's his name, Seth Rogen there. But if you grew up in Canada in the 90s, you probably know him best from Are You Afraid of the Dark and Popular Mechanics for Kids.
What Are You Afraid of the Dark episode was he in?
It was one of the first ones, and it was only the one.
Yeah, he was just
he wasn't one of the hosts or whatever.
I remember him from Popular Mechanics from Kids with Alicia Cuthbert
Alicia,
as well.
Yeah, that's where she started out as well. Chris Benoit,
Who could be his own episode all unto himself.
I think we should do a whole episode on him. He's Canadian. Murder happened in probably LA or something like that.
No, but it was in the States.
Oh, okay, somewhere in the States, yeah.
Dude, touching on Chris Benoit for a second, after the death, they'd assumed that somebody had just murdered them, and that it wasn't Chris himself. So the WWE did this big
I know.
Chris
I heard about
tribute
that.
show.
Yeah, and then immediately after that tribute show, it came out that Benoit had
Murder suicide.
Yeah, and they really had egg on their face after that.
What you don't know. You only know what you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it happened on the day of one of Raw or something like that.
It was a pay-per-view. He was supposed to get a pay-per-view.
So yeah, they have to address that somehow.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
That's all they say. On with the show.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah. Celine Dion's from Montreal, who is possibly Canada's greatest export to America.
I don't know
I
if
would
greatest
argue-
is the word.
I would argue that
That show is
Justin
popular.
Bieber is Canada's greatest export.
No,
to
that's
America.
Canada's worst
No,
virus.
Greatest export because he's no longer here, right?
Oh,
So-
I see what you mean. Yeah, I get it.
So
Points for both of them,
Yeah.
actually.
Got rid of him. Yeah.
handing him off.
Yeah. Corey Hart is a singer who sang that Sunglasses at Night song. Don't know what he's up to these days. Guy Lafleur, who's a hockey player.
I was wondering if you'd pronounce that right.
Oh, yeah. I know Guy.
Flower guy.
I know all about Guy.
Jean Lajoie, who's a Canadian. A comedian.
Canadian.
He's a Canadian comedian.
You weren't wrong.
Does a lot of videos on YouTube where he's from the, what's that show?
If you're gonna watch anything from Jean Lajoie, watch the cigarettes and beer song.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That is the
But
best.
he was in that show. The hell's it called now? Whatever, it'll come to me later. I'll be halfway reading something and be like, that's what it is. Justin Trudeau, who's the current Prime Minister of Canada. David Usher from the band Moist.
Arguably the hardest, the most.
I hope that annoyed some people.
Yeah, the most reprehensible.
Yeah. And Corey Pecker, who's a hockey player, but honestly, I just wanted to say Pecker.
Good choice.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's just a quick handful. There
Also,
are a lot of people listed.
Epic Mealtime.
Are they from Montreal
Yep.
too? Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
They film in Montreal too.
Nice.
Personal
And
heroes of mine.
also, the Montreal Canadiens.
Are they from Montreal? Are you sure? Are you sure they're not the Nordiques?
Let me just check Wikipedia really quick.
Yeah. Some recent controversies in Montreal. In November 2015, the city of Montreal dumped 8 billion liters of untreated sewage, which is 30% of its sewage, into the St. Lawrence River. The city later stated,
We did not know we needed federal approval to dump sewage into a federally regulated international waterway.
I love it. So, what the fuck? What the hell? Oh, we didn't know. We didn't know.
It's our shit. We do what we want with it.
Terrible.
I feel sorry for anybody swimming near there.
Yeah.
Fuck, they probably like it. Those French bastards.
I apologize to all of our French listeners.
The crime rate in Montreal has declined, with a couple exceptions. In 2016, there were 23 murders, which was the lowest number since 1972, which I probably should have looked up how much that was. But sex crimes have increased 14.9% between 2015 and 2016, and fraud cases have increased by 13% over the same period of time. The major criminal organizations active in Montreal are the Rizzuto crime family, the Hells Angels, and the West End Gang. What is the West End Gang?
That sounds like a musical.
That's
I
what
was
gonna
thinking the
say.
same thing. I was thinking the same thing.
We all-
Sounds like
we
a
all
real,
Start clicking.
a real positive gang.
We're going to get murdered now by the West End Gang.
Well, just don't go to Montreal. We should be fine.
They'll find us.
All right, so we'll get right into the star of this podcast. He's getting exactly what he wants anyways.
Well, not
We're enabling him.
Yeah.
if he happens to hear this.
Yeah, it's true.
But I don't think he will.
Yeah, I bet you he might. He Googles himself.
Yeah.
Like he looks up stuff on the internet about himself.
That's true. Well, if you're listening, Luka,
Fuck you.
nice ass.
So Luka Magnotta was born Eric Clinton Newman, or Clinton Kirk Newman, on July 24th, 1982 in Scarborough, Ontario. He had several different names he went by, including Mattia Del Santo, it's probably Mattia, hey?
I think
Mattia.
Jimmy, Justin, Angel, Vladimir Romanov, and Kirk Trammell, which I assume was his 9-to-5 businessman character.
That is a very, very white collar name.
Or maybe private investigator character. Kirk Trammell, private eye.
And his talking dog.
Brought it right around. Magnotta was the oldest of 3 kids from his parents who split when he was young. On an online post, he said that he lived with his grandmother and was homeschooled because, quote, the world was a dirty and dangerous place.
There was also another thing, like a bunch of his backstory he talks about, and then he'll talk to a different interviewer and say entirely different things. So there's one story I read where his mom dropped out in grade 9, but she homeschooled him until grade 6.
Oh, weird.
And then that's when he went to high school. And yeah, so like so much of this guy is he just wants to talk to whoever
Yeah,
will
nobody
listen to
knows the story. The
So
true story.
it's like the Joker's origin story then,
Yeah.
where it's completely shrouded in mystery. We'll never know.
Yeah, let's hear it. Oh, that's that it.
Well, that's it. Let's hear it.
I like comics. I just don't know very much about them. Okay.
Well, the whole thing about the Joker's origin story is that there really isn't one. There's several different origin stories, but as to
Gotcha.
which one is accurate, that's up
I
in the
get
air.
it now.
That's for another podcast.
I'm better if I just get explain things to me. Don't have to think.
We'll
too
talk
much.
about Alan Moore later.
Yeah.
You fool.
Luka went from one broken home to another when his grandparents' marriage also fell apart and they divorced. His mother had a boyfriend that he described as being a monster.
So what does being a monster mean?
I
Luka
don't know.
Magnotta's like,
I couldn't
Literally
even
a
find,
monster.
Yeah, I couldn't.
He's a
The
Bigfoot.
monster under the bed. Bigfoot. He's a vampire.
from one monster to another. Like,
Yeah.
Just imagine if Sasquatch got bitten by a werewolf. What the hell would that become?
I don't know if it was smaller.
Would he? Would,
I
well,
don't know.
yeah, like,
Wolfquatch?
well,
Werequatch?
that would be a deadly combination.
I see a movie being written about this.
Yeah. Be another podcast. Just create weird mythical creatures. New ones. It's the world needs some new ones.
They
new
do.
mythical creatures.
Starting with Sasquatch.
Yeah. His relationship with his father became next to non-existent, and the only kind of positive influence in his life was his sister Melissa, who was the only other person he described as beautiful besides himself.
Okay.
Family life aside, he saw himself as an outcast in high school. Classmates would later say that he didn't stand out at all, just another face in the crowd of faces. He became a model and was also appeared in several adult films.
One of them's called Adorable.
Did you look it up?
No,
Or
but
you
I
found
read
it?
an article where they talked about
But I've
Amazon.
seen them.
I didn't look them up, but I have seen them.
I actually own it. But no, when this thing came out, you could actually buy it on Amazon. So then Amazon pulled it. That's how I found out about it.
You know, Luka Magnotta aside for 1 second, we forgot to mention on last episode with Robert Picton that he fucking wrote and released a book from prison.
Oh, yes.
That is true.
That's crazy.
With no education.
No education. Somebody smuggled it out and in whatever.
Keistered it, no doubt.
And it was on Amazon, but then it was pulled. That's what made me remember that. In 2005, he appeared as a pinup model in Toronto's Fab magazine using the name Jimmy. In 2007, he was unsuccessfully unsuccessfully competed in Out TV's reality series Cover Guy. I'm not even gonna edit that at all.
He didn't deserve your edits.
Between modeling and auditioning, he was getting several cosmetic surgeries done to make himself appear closer to what he thought he should look like in his head. Basically, he wanted desperately to look perfect. He auditioned for the Slice Network's TV show Plastic Makes Perfect in 2008. Did that show ever air? I don't remember
I've
it.
never seen it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
There's that show Botched,
Oh yeah, there's boss.
but maybe that's the predecessor to Botched. Is this Plastic Makes Perfect?
Yeah.
There's a Canadian model. She just got her eye tattooed.
Ah,
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that's just.
was it a model or was it just a random?
Well, the headline says model, whatever. So I don't know if she wanted to be a model or had modeled in a couple magazines or whatever. But now she cries purple and can't see.
Ugh,
Yeah.
So weird. It could be a pretty. She could be perfect for horror movies now.
Yeah.
Because she'll be blind.
No, she says it's fuzzy, but the crying blue.
Well, she might
Purple
lose.
eyebrows?
Sci-fi. She could be an alien now.
Yeah.
She might lose her eye. I think it was one
Probably.
eye, wasn't it?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who thought that it was a good idea to start tattooing eyeballs?
Well, her friend apparently. Her friend.
But I've heard of that being done before, though.
Yeah, I don't know. People with body dysmorphia do weird things where it's
Speaking
it's never enough. Yeah.
That's the perfect topic right now.
Yeah.
I don't even that doesn't even come up in the trial, so I guess we could talk about it right after this part that I'm going to say right No. Luka Magnotta is believed to suffer from many different mental health problems, or at least his defense team wanted to make everyone believe that when he committed the atrocities that he did, he was in a sane...
He wasn't.
Or wasn't in a sane mindset.
That would be the worst defense team ever.
He totally did it. Knew everything he was
You
doing.
guys know you did it.
Just send him to jail now.
Good catch. Some of the issues he was living with are borderline personality disorder, described as a long-term pattern of abnormal behavior, such as unstable relationships with other people, unstable self or sense of self, and unstable emotions.
I'd say unstable self is probably
Often there's a frequent dangerous behavior, a feeling of emptiness, self-harm, and an extreme fear of abandonment. Do I have this? Anyway. Substance abuse, depression, and eating disorders are commonly associated with BPD. It can increase the risk of self-harm, and 10% of people affected die by suicide.
Well, if only he had.
Yeah.
What parts of that do you think like he has?
He exhibited?
Yeah.
Well, unstable relationships.
Yeah.
Unstable sense of self. Unstable emotions.
All of the
definitely.
unstableness.
Dangerous behavior.
Yeah.
That one too.
I mean, honestly, that sounds like pretty much everything.
Yeah, bang on.
Everything he exhibited, yeah.
Except for the substance abuse. Apparently he wasn't into drugs at all.
No?
Yeah.
No, he I read an article with a guy from the States who had a house in Montreal, and he used Luka Magnotta's escort services, and he continued using him because he didn't want to get all fucked up before they fucked. He's like, I was impressed with that male hooker. But then he found out what Luka did, and he's like, I haven't bought a hooker since.
Wow. Okay.
Good for him.
Antisocial personality disorder, or sociopathy. A personality disorder characterized by a long-term pattern of disregard for or violation of the rights of others, often described as impoverished moral sense or lack of conscience. Lack of conscience is also apparent, as well as a history of crime, legal problems, or impulsive and aggressive behavior. And speaking of history of crime, in 2005, Luka was convicted of impersonation and 3 counts of fraud against Sears Canada and The Brick, after impersonating a woman to apply for a credit card and purchasing over 10 grand worth of goods. He pleaded guilty and received a 9-month conditional sentence with 12 months of probation.
I didn't know that.
That's actually almost worth it at that point. You can get $10,000 worth of furniture for 12 months probation and a conditional sentence, which means he probably served it on weekends. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Fucking got off easy.
Nice.
Got the sweet rug. Histrionic personality disorder. This is the one I described in the intro there. Egocentrism, self-indulgence, high levels of attention-seeking emotions, seductive behavior, the need for approval. This to me is the big one. All of the interviews I watched and the videos and articles I read during this research really points to HPD. It points to all of them, but it's he obviously suffers from the other ones as well, but you combine them all together and you get a person who has no remorse in killing animals or humans, and they record it and post it online to get as many people's attention as possible. Then you have the videos he recorded of himself, where he seems to be talking to someone or flirting with someone who is recording him, like quote unquote recording him, when really there's no one else there. His lawyers brought up paranoid schizophrenia as well, but honestly, I think the whole illusion of someone recording him in those videos were all about other people seeing it and thinking he is popular and loved. I don't believe that he was having hallucinations or hearing voices.
It has been actually documented that he did hear voices and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he'd been to several hospitals and stuff before.
Where the hell was all this information?
There was fucking so much, man. Like there was a lot of information about it.
I'm glad you went into it.
But he'd been to doctors, or whatever. But the same thing as we're talking about before, where he'd make up different histories. One of the times he said, went to see the doctor, complaining about hallucinations and hearing voices and stuff. And then he went back to see the doctor like a week later, and he's like, no, I'm fine. It was just because I did drugs. They're just coming back to haunt me. But there's also no history of him doing drugs. So you don't know what's fucking true with this guy.
Well, and regardless of what's true or not, how is that a defense? To say,
because then if you suffer from somebody, like a voice is telling you to do it.
I get that, but isn't that a person you don't want walking around freely?
It's true. He should be on medication at least.
Well, I mean, but I mean, if somebody's that unstable and they're that irresponsible that they would be that unstable without seeking help, without being on medication, that's not somebody that should be free, because obviously they don't have the self-control or the willpower to seek help and correct themselves.
Yeah.
Canada did just release the guy who cannibalized the guy on the bus.
And he never should have been released.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to say that guy's going to go off his meds again if he's already
It just takes a
unstable.
couple times, and then you suddenly start feeling different. Maybe you feel happier without the medication, and you stop taking them altogether.
Or he's just like, oh, I'm fine, not realizing that it's the drugs making you fine.
A lot of people are like, oh, I'm better now.
Yeah.
They've been taking the pills for a while.
Yeah, if they've taken them for a while and then all of a sudden you stop. So what happens? You're already fucked up as a human being. So something happens, you become depressed, and then you stop taking your medication, you go on a bender or something, and all of a sudden you're back to where you began, and you're eating somebody's face on a bus or...
Yeah. All right, so in August 2006, he changes his name to Luka Magnotta. He creates nearly a countless number of profiles on various social media and discussion forums over several years just to get his name out there into the ether of the internet. He starts so many rumors about himself, such as in 2007, when a rumor emerged about Magnotta being in a relationship with Karla Homolka.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, who we all know is a high-profile convicted murderer. Now, I know we haven't gotten deep into the actual murder yet, but during the investigation, Montreal police initially announced the pair had dated. The police even put that out, just because they read it somewhere. And they had to retract the claim and acknowledge that they have no evidence to corroborate it.
But it made for good clickbait.
Yeah, big time. Magnotta denied several claims as hoaxes, like with the Homolka relationship, and said the rumors were part of a campaign of cyber stalking against him. Police stated that he had set up at least 70 Facebook pages and 20 websites under different names. He posted on the white supremacist website Stormfront under 2 different usernames and followed the Twitter account of white nationalist Don Black, who is the current who is the current webmaster of Stormfront. Oh, I get it, Don Black. Yeah. Don Black was also a Grand Wizard in the KKK and a member of the American Nazi Party in the 70s. So basically just an all-around piece of shit human being. In one of his alleged Stormfront comments, Magnotta denounced Chinese people.
How do you denounce Chinese people?
I have no clue.
They mean nothing to me.
I just don't like them.
Yeah. In March 2007, Luka declares bankruptcy, owing $17,000 in various debts. Despite all his best
I wish I only owed 17.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
That
wow.
would be nice.
And he declared bankruptcy on the $17,000 debt?
Yeah.
You can do that?
I'm going to turn down the one microphone just a bit here. All right.
You bastard.
Well, because there was like a loud crack that I heard. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yeah.
17 grand.
17 grand. Despite all his best efforts of becoming famous and making money, he is bankrupt. No movie offers and no more TV auditions. As he becomes more and more addicted to the internet, his interests turn towards a darker path when he becomes fixated on serial killers. Sort of like we are on this podcast.
We won't kill anybody.
Swear.
Promise.
Swear to God.
We did talk about eating somebody last time.
We did.
Okay, well, maybe we won't promise, but we'll try.
He was like an obsessed fan of Karla Homolka and Paul Bernardo. After creating that rumor that he and Homolka were an item, he calls a press conference himself to make a statement denying that allegation. This whole thing caused a stir in his reputation.
See, now that's
nothing big.
that's the difference between guys like us and guys like him.
Yeah.
A fan of serial killers.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any posters of John Wayne Gacy? Like, do you have anything signed? No. I can't imagine, like, being a fan of a serial killer. That seems like such a weird thing to do.
Jonathan Davis, the singer from Korn, he is like he's got enough
I
stuff
could
for
see
like
that.
a serial killer museum.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He
Yeah.
actually has Ted Bundy's like his Volkswagen Beetle that he took people out of the desert with. And yeah, he bought that.
There's another guy, that Zach whatever from Ghost Adventures, that also collects a bunch of different macabre items, and I think he has Jack Kevorkian's van and a bunch of other random things.
Crazy. Wow, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
I guess.
But I don't know if I'd consider... Well, Jack Kevorkian, technically a serial killer, was more of a hero than a villain.
Yeah, well, people were asking him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not like he was just going out and killing people.
No, it was one of those really odd cases where it's like he wasn't really doing anything bad, but our justice system said he was. So, yeah, for another time.
There's a lot of things that we can talk about that have to be for another time. After all the reality TV auditions, the plastic surgeries, the years spent building himself up online, his appetite for attention becomes nearly insatiable. He needs more and more. So what does he do? Well, in the fall of 2010, after probing the darkest corners of the internet, he becomes inspired by a video he posts to his Facebook page titled, 3 Guys, 1 Hammer. Yeah, he was sharing it. I was confused by what I wrote. The video is disgusting, showing a man being beaten to death. I read people's reviews of it. Of this one. The video was made by a group of teenage murderers, and it was popular among all the legions of terrible people on the internet.
Those were huge serial killers in the Ukraine, those kids, weren't they?
Yep.
They killed, I don't even know a number, but it was in the double digits.
Holy shit.
And filmed most of it, yeah.
Yeah. Don't people learn? That's how you get caught.
I don't think they care. I think that's what they want.
I guess not.
Because, if you can't be famous, then you might as well be infamous, right?
Yeah.
So, just like
That's a
with
good
Luka
line.
Magnotta.
Yeah.
He wanted fame, and he got something else.
Yeah.
He got... And there's also that saying
There you
that no press is bad press, right? So, kill somebody and...
You're not going to get many movie contracts that way, though.
Well, but, technically, if somebody wants to make a movie about Luka Magnotta, they got to go to him and ask for rights on his life. They got to...
He can't make any money off of it, though.
Well, unless there's a civil lawsuit out or something saying that...
No, you can't profit. That's why they had to pull Picton's book, because he can't make any profits off of
No,
off of
but
that.
if somebody has right of attorney for you, like say there's a member of Luka Magnotta's family that he's given his rights to, then couldn't they make money off of that?
I'm sure there's no way they can. You can't profit off your crimes.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, no, there's laws that you say you can't profit off of it.
But look, technically he wasn't convicted, but he was convicted in the civil lawsuit. But O.J. Simpson wrote that book, If I Did It. You
Yeah, but
almost
he
brought
wasn't
that out.
convicted, so Magnotta's been convicted.
He wasn't convicted,
tell.
but then he lost a civil lawsuit. So that doesn't count as an actual conviction, but he was still convicted in the public eye. So
Well,
how does that work?
Because he wasn't found criminally guilty.
Yeah,
he
then he's
still
fine.
it's not a crime then. Fucking okay.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
All right. So November in 2010, there was a lot of hype around a video called 1 Boy, 2 Kittens. In the video, an unidentified man places 2 kittens in a sealable plastic bag. He then sucks the air out of the bag using a vacuum. The camera remains focused on the kittens as they slowly suffocate. What are some of the most beloved things on the internet? I think cats and kittens are probably
There are
right
a
up
lot
there.
of cat videos.
Yeah, I probably should before I started describing that. I should have been like, if you don't want to hear about kittens dying, don't listen to it for the next 15 seconds or something like that.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's completely fine talking about human beings being murdered, but when you bring up cats or dogs,
people
everything
go
changes.
crazy. Yeah. Every single day, someone on your Facebook news feed probably shares a video of a cat playing or trying to jump to somewhere but falling and being scared of a cucumber. There's a lot of they're damn adorable. So, of course, just minutes after the video appeared, outrage went widespread all over the web. Ryan Boyle, a former U.S. soldier with the username Save Kitty, started a Facebook group which accumulated 4,000 people overnight, all with the same idea in mind. We need to catch this lunatic. The vacuum kitten killer released 2 more videos and photos 24 hours after the original. His identity still concealed. The group of online investigators felt they were being taunted. They felt like the kitten videos were all the starting of something much bigger and more disgusting in the works. They broke down the videos frame by frame, looking for clues as to who and where this maniac was. A breakthrough came when some pictures were planted on a website of the same kittens being held by a man in the same apartment as the video. But this time, the face of the killer was revealed to be Luka Magnotta. He drew attention to himself just to get attention, I think.
I've seen one of the photos. Like, I didn't delve into the photos or videos because I don't really want to watch them.
Yeah.
But saw a picture of the 2 kittens in a plastic bag in his fridge.
Holy shit.
And so I got this information off of a wiki page, like not the actual Luka Magnotta Wikipedia page, but it was like real life supervillains. And apparently he kept them in the refrigerator so they wouldn't rot, so he could stimulate himself with them.
Oh.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer to that.
That's a good response. Just don't know what to say. Corey, did you ever see the videos? Those ones?
No.
No. Yeah, I didn't even, like, I searched, when I searched up June Lin, there were apparently links to that video that I could have watched, but I didn't. And then I think the cat ones are completely gone, unless you have like the dark web. I'm sure it's on there somewhere.
They still exist somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody's got them, but that's not. But yeah, I know all about the animal abuse and everything like that, but
Yeah.
I'd never. That was all kind of something that came to light after he'd already committed murder and everything.
Yeah. So 4 days later, another clue gets leaked by Magnotta himself. In an email, he writes, "The name of the kitten vacuumer you're looking for is Luka Magnotta. He was born in Russia, lives in Los Angeles, and has lived in several different countries. The apartment in the video is located in West Hollywood. Hope this helps. I'm 100% serious." He was super serial. So now he has revealed his face and his name, but has kept his location a secret to avoid legal prosecution, obviously. The online sleuths Google his name and find a ton of online presence. His narcissism knew absolutely no bounds as they scrolled through hundreds of photos. Multiple looks and different identities all come up for him to see, for them to see. Having so many different looks and personas made him harder to track and easier to hide, and also helped him promote himself. They read his boasts about ties to serial killers and to the Russian mob. They read how he said he was persecuted for his sympathy towards white supremacists. Right. And they were marveled by his imagined stardom as a model and porn star. One fan writes, "Luka is the Prince of Canada. He's a god here," which was likely written by Magnotta himself. And so he's got so many pictures taken of himself all over the place, like different countries and different cities and stuff. But it turns out that a huge majority of them were photoshopped. So they'd find the original picture and that his face was just put on top of it.
Why is he on that black man's body?
MS Paint.
Yeah. Speaking of MS Paint, have you ever seen Ringo Starr's MS Paint?
No, like
Look that up sometime.
I will.
It is fucking amazing. It's amazing it's amazingly bad, which makes it really good.
So what is this? Ringo Starr using MS Paint to draw or
to
what?
draw and paint and stuff.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
So what happened was that digital pictures contain data embedded into them. A computer-savvy person can find that data and figure out where a picture is taken, and that's exactly what they did when they come across a current real picture of Luka from late October, like just over a week before the kitten video was posted. They figured out the picture was taken with a cell phone, which had a GPS stamp in it, and they determined that Magnotta was in Toronto at the time of the picture. The online detectives contact the Ontario SPCA to report the animal abuse. They had a name and location, and a file was opened on Magnotta with the OSPCA in January 2011 and was treated as a priority. The OSCPA then began working with the Toronto Police and the RCMP, so they have a better chance of finding him. But even with all the info they were given, pinpointing a location was next to impossible, especially if he wasn't in Toronto anymore. So 8 months go by and Magnotta hasn't been found or questioned. The online detectives have also slowed down because many of them couldn't understand what was taking so long to find this guy. Like, they were pissed off at the police. They warned the police he was an animal abuser and possibly a danger to the public. Pre-burp and burp right there. Toronto is a huge city. How important does an alleged kitten killer seem to the police in a place like that? Right?
Not so much, apparently.
Yeah. In November 2011, members from the online investigators got emails saying, quote, "You might want to look at this video," and a link for them to click. The new videos were posted in November and December of 2011. The first depicted an unidentified man wearing a Santa hat feeding a live kitten to a python.
To the python, he kind of was Santa Claus.
Yeah, I guess. The second video, it's fucking hard to talk about, let alone seeing like parts of it in the video, like in the report that I was watching. It showed a kitten that had been taped to a broom handle and then drowned in a bathtub. Luka was taunting them, like the investigators, basically rubbing it in everyone's face that he hasn't been caught yet. The Sun newspaper in the UK receives an email from who they believe to have been Magnotta. The email read, "It's fun watching people work so hard gathering evidence, then not being able to name me or catch me. You see, I always win. I always hold the trump card, and I will continue to make more movies. Next time you hear from me, it will be in a movie I'm producing that will have some humans in it, not just pussies."
There's some foreshadowing for you.
Yeah. Let's backtrack a little bit to July 2011. June Lin. You know, it's funny. I recorded that intro at first, and I had it as Lin June because that's what Wikipedia said.
Well, I think
Yeah.
in some I think, well, I
Everywhere
don't know
else
their
it's
culture,
June Lin, but
they put their last name first and their first name last in some cases, don't they?
I'm sure, like, it must be, because I don't know. It's not anywhere else besides the Wikipedia, but it's all throughout the Wikipedia. So
I'm just thinking of my limited knowledge of how that works.
Yeah.
But they, like, you know, there's like sun and when you put sun on the front of something or on the back of
Sun Gohan?
and Sama.
oh, that's the end. Goku-san, isn't that how it goes?
Goku-san or Son Gohan.
Yeah.
And Son Goku and then Sama and then
I love Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know. I don't know how it works, but there's something there where you put the last first and the first last for whatever reason.
So, June Lin has just arrived in Canada in July 2011, following his dream of going to school here. He grew up in rural China and was now giving everyone in his family hope by coming here and working for his degree in computer science at Concordia University. When he graduated, he was planning on supporting his parents and younger sister with his new career. Lin was 33 years old, and he talked with his mom on a daily basis because she worried about him living in a big foreign city. He would walk the streets with his cell phone and stream images back to her. His daily messages to her would all be around the same thing, like, quote, "Don't worry, I'm safe." He was reported missing to the police on May 29th, 2012. On a surveillance video timestamped May 24th, 2012, at 10:22 p.m., we see Magnotta walking into his apartment with June Lin. Magnotta is wearing a white shirt and black pants. June is wearing a black and white hat, a yellow shirt, and khaki shorts. We see the two walk down a hallway and then turn a corner. It cuts to the same hallway with Magnotta walking towards the exit. He's wearing June Lin's yellow shirt. The video is timestamped May 25th, 2012 at 2:06 a.m., 4 hours since arriving with June Lin. He comes back at 2:13 a.m. carrying a bag. He catches his reflection in his peripheral vision in a mirror to his left. He stops, tucks his hair behind his ears, and steps closer to do a quick turnaround and check himself out. He then walks down the same hallway. At 2:47 a.m., we see a video from what looks to be some sort of workshop.
we see two large black garbage bins, and Luka comes into the picture. He is carrying a dark plastic bag. He tosses it into the garbage and leaves. The video then cuts to 2:52 a.m. Magnotta is now bringing in a small black garbage bin, filled with what looks like used paper towels. He dumps it into the large garbage bin. 4:02 a.m. Magnotta has filled up the small black trash can again with what looks like more paper towels and dumps it in as well. At 6:07 a.m., a man wearing a red shirt comes to the garbage bins and pulls them out to empty them. The video then cuts to 1:09 p.m., and Magnotta has come back to the garbage area. He's wearing blue latex gloves and carrying several paintings. He lifts the lid to the garbage, looks in, and then closes the lid. He looks around quickly and sets the paintings down just off camera. At 2:07, we see Magnotta entering the apartment complex again. He disappears down the same hallway. At 5:12 p.m. Magnotta is back at the garbages, carrying an armful of clothes. He lifts the lid and stuffs all the clothes into the bin and walks away. The next few cuts are showing Magnotta walk in and out of the building. He is now wearing June Lin's hat. June Lin has not been seen exiting the building since entering it the night before. At 9:53 p.m., Magnotta is again throwing away more clothing. He distributes it all between the two garbage bins. Then he sees a book, and he picks it up and flips through it quickly. He places it back and pushes everything in the two bins down and leaves the area. We see him walk in and out of the building and throw more things in the garbage the next day. But there's still one question. Where was June Lin?
You guys wouldn't believe how, crazy I was feeling by the end of recording that just because I had that music going the whole time.
It's like living in a red room.
Yeah. So on May 25th, the video One Lunatic, One Ice Pick is uploaded onto bestgore.com. The naked man is being repeatedly stabbed, the naked man being repeatedly stabbed is June Lin. The video goes on for 10 or 11 minutes. It also shows him being dismembered. The perpetrator slices off pieces of flesh with a fork and knife and gets a dog to chew on the body. There are also scenes involving necrophilia. What's that?
The dog that he feeds the pieces of June Lin to, he actually kills that dog as well.
Holy fuck.
That's found in a plastic bag with the remains of June Lin that were found around.
What the hell?
Just a madman.
That's not on Wikipedia at all.
And apparently, as well as the necrophilia, which I've heard is just with the torso, but he uses June Lin's severed arm to masturbate with too.
I don't recall that.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you've already gone that batshit insane, anything is possible, I guess. And like you were, if he was using cats for sexual gratification, then yeah. I mean, he seems like a creative person. So.
Use what you got. I watched It last night, and there's a part in there where Pennywise, the dancing clown, is waving with somebody else's hand, that just thought of that. I was just like,
Luka Magnotta is a sexually sadistic MacGyver.
We could end the podcast right there. Back to the video. The 1987 New Order song True Faith plays in the background. And, just picturing that, the first thing that comes to my mind is that scene from Reservoir Dogs where, what's his name? is
Mr. White.
Yeah, Mr. White is dousing the guy in gasoline.
Yeah, that's forever tied to that.
Yeah,
that song's forever tied to that scene for me.
With Stuck in the Middle with You playing it. Canadian authorities obtained a, quote, more extensive version of the video and said that cannibalism may have been performed as well. Why do they say may? How don't they know that? If they saw the whole video...
I mean, I guess they're just assuming that he's eating the flesh of Junlin, but then they can't really confirm that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty much implied, but you're not actually allowed to come out and just say outright that somebody has done something without physical evidence. So,
yeah.
So the police wouldn't have confirmed that at that point.
Okay.
It is a grim find at the headquarters of Canada's ruling party. While sorting mail, a receptionist discovered a blood-stained box. When police opened the package, they found a severed human foot inside.
It's strange. I don't think it doesn't have anything to do with us as such. I mean, some bizarre person obviously did it.
Over the next several hours, even more body parts and packages were discovered, including a torso found in Montreal stuffed inside a suitcase.
We got a pair of cutters we opened because there was a small lock on, and we opened it up, and then we looked inside, and there's the body with no head, just the torso and feet.
Forensic tests have now confirmed all the body parts came from the same victim, a man. Police believe he knew his killer. They've issued an arrest warrant for this man, Luka Magnotta. He is reportedly a former stripper and porn actor.
We hope that with the help of the public, we will arrest the suspect. This is our main goal, our main priority.
Police say they're now trying to establish just why the killer would send parts of the victim through the mail.
Initially, they actually found Luka Magnotta's ID in the garbage as well, and they thought he was the victim.
Oh.
And then it was determined that it was Junlin or whatever, but yeah, he was the first victim that they thought.
He is psychopathic MacGyver.
Yeah, he wanted to be caught, obviously.
Are we recording?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're recording.
No, we're not. All that information, useless.
Sorry, I couldn't see past Sean's head to see if it was still going or not.
So on May 29th, 2012, at 11 a.m., a package containing Junlin's left foot was delivered to the Conservative Party's headquarters in a box stained with blood. It was marked with a heart symbol and addressed to the Prime Minister, or to Prime Minister Stephen Harper and his wife. There was also a note found in the same package that stated that there were a total of 6 body parts being distributed and that the perpetrator would kill again. Another package was intercepted by Canada Post. It was addressed to the Liberal Party and contained Junlin's left hand. The janitor in Magnotta's building found a suitcase in the garbage pile in the alley with a decomposing torso inside. It had been sitting out there since May 25th. The police searched the scene and found more human remains, bloody clothes, papers identifying the suspect, and as well as sharp and blunt objects from the back alley.
One of the packages, I think, was to the Liberal Party, had a poem in it. It was like, roses are red, violets are blue, they'll need dental records to identify you.
Jesus.
That's dark.
It is.
Yeah.
I could have made a whole audio of that with just like a child singing that in the background. Real creepy. At 11:33 p.m. that same day, police searched the apartment that Luka Magnotta was renting, which it was Suite 208. The apartment had mostly been emptied. Blood was found all over the place, though. The mattress, the refrigerator, the table, and the bathtub. On the inside of a closet, a message was written in red ink. It said, quote, "If you do not like the reflection, don't look in the mirror. I don't care." Was that like motivation for him, or did he look at it and be like, "You hate yourself today, Luka"? I don't care. Though.
During he even looks at himself in the mirror in the lobby or whatever in the entranceway while he's disposing, so he doesn't mind looking at himself in the mirror.
No,
like right after he murdered Junlin, he looked in the mirror, he caught his reflection and was like. Checked himself out. It was so creepy watching that.
If he was planning on getting caught, maybe he wrote that as a little message to them when they came in, because he put his ID out there for them to find.
I guess, right? Yeah.
Apparently, during his disposal of the remains, he also ordered pizza too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to put that in there, but I did see him throw out a pizza box.
Yeah. Pizza delivers a pizza to him.
Yeah. I didn't see. They didn't show like a pizza guy coming, so I want to just be like, he just say that he ordered pizza if I didn't know for sure.
Well, apparently you did.
Yeah, okay.
So if he did eat Junlin, he didn't like it.
Well,
that's confirmed.
He doesn't like Chinese.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh man.
I guess yeah, that is true though. What they say about eating Chinese, right?
You're hungry half an hour later.
Yeah.
Oh man. On June 5th, 2 packages were delivered to 2 elementary schools.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. St. George's School received June Lin's right foot, and False Creek Elementary School in Vancouver received his right hand. Both packages were sent from Montreal. On June 13th, the 4 limbs and torso were matched to June Lin using DNA from his family. On July 1st, an anonymous tip came into the police telling them that his head could be found at the edge of a small lake in Montreal's Agrignon. I'm gonna butcher like any French words. I tried to keep as many of them out.
Agrignon.
There you go, park. And can we guess who called in the anonymous tip? Probably himself.
So the head was actually there?
It was there, yeah. Junlin's body was cremated on July 11th, and his ashes were buried on July 26th in Montreal. Yeah, they found his head just by the little lake or whatever.
There was so many fractures in it that they couldn't actually tell how many times it was hit.
Damn.
Yeah. I read a thing with the guy who did the autopsy or whatever, and yeah, I said just a crazy amount of fractures. And there was they think the cause of death was due to having his throat slit, but it also could have been to all the blunt force trauma to the head. They don't know for sure, but
Jesus.
Yeah, it really went off on him.
So now there's a manhunt for him. The Montreal police issued an arrest warrant for Magnotta, and it was quickly upgraded to a Canada-wide warrant by the RCMP, who accused him of first-degree murder, committing an indignity to a dead body, publishing obscene material, mailing obscene, indecent, and immoral material, and criminally harassing Prime Minister Stephen Harper and several other members of Parliament.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that there'd be, like, reading that or hearing that, you'd think the charges should be worse, but how often do you hear of somebody mailing pieces of somebody through it? Probably not a lot on the books.
Eventually, on May 31st, the Canadian authorities requested that Interpol issue a red notice for Magnotta. For several days before and after his arrest, his name and picture were displayed at the top of the homepage of the Interpol website. The red notice requested that Magnotta be arrested and held pending extradition back to Canada by any Interpol member state. Using a passport with his own name, Magnotta booked a flight from Montreal to Paris on May 25th. When he arrived in France, authorities traced his cell phone to a hotel in Bagnolet. Does that sound?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay. But he had left by the time police arrived. He had used a passport with the fake name Kirk Trammell. There's his Kirk Trammell character at the hotel. He was fucking private eyeing all over the place. Police followed a large frame man who was known to be a contact of Magnotta's from a previous visit to Paris in 2010. Another man he stayed with for 2 nights didn't even realize who he was until after he had left. Magnotta then took a bus to Berlin, Germany. And I'm not too sure how long what he did in Berlin for the couple days that he would have been there.
He partied with a 50-year-old.
Did he?
Yeah.
See,
and
look at that shit.
the 50-year-old was the guy who dropped him off at the internet cafe.
Okay.
So what I don't get is you commit a murder, you're free, you've traveled across continents, and you go to a country that has extradition orders with Canada and the US. So why not go just a little bit further to somewhere where you cannot be extradited back to Canada and live freely forever?
Well,
Because they don't have good internet.
He apparently had ties to the Russian mob and everything.
Wow,
he could have went to
bullshit.
Russia.
I don't believe he did.
Come on, his name is what was it, like Vladimir or something?
Romanov.
Vladimir Romanov.
But I mean, it's just
Vladimir. There we go.
Yeah.
Romanov.
You can't do the French, but you got the Russian.
I can do Russian and a little bit of gay German.
That just comes out at night.
I'm gonna save it in case there's a Rush or a German guy who murders somebody that we're gonna do a case on or something. On June 4th, 2012, the Berlin police apprehend him at an internet cafe while he was reading news stories about himself. He tried to give fake names and weasel his way out of it before admitting who he was. Fingerprint evidence confirmed his identity. On June 18th, Magnotta was delivered to Canadian authorities and was flown back on an RCMP CC-150 Polaris to an airport just north of Montreal.
Which, I would mind you, is the whole reason he did this, just to get a ride on the CC-150 Polaris.
Well, it is a military issue. So. They took the heavy duty plane because of safety concerns with a commercial, or using a commercial flight, and potential legal difficulties if the plane was diverted to another country. He was then placed in solitary confinement at
Good luck.
Rivière des Prairies Detention Center.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, that's good.
Other than that, it's Rivière des Prairies.
Did you know that Guy Fieri pronounces his name Guy Fieri?
Really?
Yeah. How the fuck does that? How does an R become a T? In what world can an R
It's just
become
like a
T?
J becoming an H.
Kinda, yeah. But yeah, I understand J becoming H, but R becoming a T.
It's a soft going to a hard sounding letter.
Mm-hmm.
Guy Fieri.
Well, it's that.
He's hairy like a Yeti.
Fucking Flavor Town.
It's those flame shirts that are.
Speaking of Flavor Town, Magnotta.
Yeah.
Flavor Town Magnotta.
So I didn't like look into like how long he was in prison for before they, like, it was obviously a couple years or whatever that he was held before they actually run a trial or anything. And I didn't even go too much into the trial, even because it was basically just like throw the book
it was
at
open.
kind of thing.
There wasn't. I mean, the defense was basically just to keep him. But I mean, like, it's so stupid because the maximum penalty he can get isn't even worth defending anything over. It's
I know.
like,
Well, the first day he actually pleaded guilty to it. He said he did all the physical
The
acts,
first day, yeah.
but said that he wasn't sane while he did.
Yeah.
So then the rest
and
of
that's
case
the
was
only
just-
defense you can give, and then it just changes his position. Is the place where he spends his sentence changes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So
during the trial, Magnotta pleads not guilty, but admitted to the acts he was accused of, basically because of insanity. That's what he was pleading, pretty much. His defense attorney argued that he was in a psychotic state at the time of the crimes. The Crown prosecutor argued that the murder of June Lin was organized and premeditated, and that Magnotta was, quote, purposeful, mindful, ultra-organized, and ultimately responsible for his actions.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. The trial lasted 12 weeks. The jury was sequestered and began deliberations on December 16th, 2014. On the 8th day of deliberations, they returned a verdict of guilty on all charges. Magnotta is currently serving a mandatory life sentence and will be eligible for parole in 25 years. So that's around the year 2039. He could potentially be out.
what I don't get is that he was also sentenced to 19 years for other charges that are being served concurrently.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they be able to just throw that on top of his sentence? Because 25 is like the max number.
Because that's probably why it's 25.
Which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because you could kill 10 people and spend 25 years in prison.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying. So
Yeah.
Well, Picton.
yeah, exactly. So same situation. Yeah. The fact you can get out in your lifetime after committing an atrocity like that is flabbergasting. Like,
But, Magnotta seems to be taken to prison life pretty well lately. He has several pen pals who he writes and flirts to all the time. And I'm going to insert a little audio file that I made here with just that.
I'm excited.
Thanks for the 2 letters. I've been very busy lately, but better late than never. I really enjoy playing hockey and tennis, and I've lost a lot of weight. I'm looking forward to next month when the volleyball nets outside will be put up. I've always been an amazing player. We have a nice gym here too for exercising. It's really important to getting the results I want. I spend 2 hours playing sports, 1 hour exercising, and at night I go outside for a walk in the garden. The lilacs are my favorite. Okay, I'm back. I really hope you'll be able to make it in July to the little cottage here. I'll fill out the form and put you on the list. I'll go shopping for the food and movies. We have movie channels and movie nights here, so I can get any title. Just don't think about raping me, LOL. Did you get the painting yet? Because I sent it last week. When I go to painting class, I'll try to make another one, but everyone is pestering me to do one for them, so it might take a while. I just watched an interview with Chris Evans. He's so fucking hot. I would tap that ass so awesome. LOL. Channing Tatum was/is so hot in the Magic Mike films. Have you seen them? There is a convenience store here that opens every day that sells everything you can imagine. I'm watching my diet though, so I don't buy any junk food. But when my friends have pizza party night, I do indulge. I work it off though, dancing and running. Oh, I just bought Celine Dion's album and a lot of others. Obsession with my personal life. The guards are imbeciles and everyone wants to know minute sexual details. Fucking losers. I just tell them to check the internet and everything is on there. Stop asking me. I refuse to speak. Finish boxing and working out. My body is so toned and tight. I hope you think of me when you pleasure yourself, LOL. I'm watching a documentary on Princess Diana. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so am I, LOL. You are too sexy. I wonder what it would be like to be fucked by one of the royal family. I bet Will and Harry know just how to use their crown jewels, LOL. XOXOXO.
Yeah, that's prison for him.
Why does prison sound better than real life? It's like, my friends have pizza parties and movie night, and we've got I don't have the fucking movie channel.
No, I can't afford that shit.
And they have a cottage there.
Have a cottage for fucking visits when you want to get down and dirty with somebody. And then they have a garden that you can walk by and smell the lilacs
are his
at
favorite.
night.
You can smell the lilacs.
Like, what a great place.
Yeah.
Wow, we know how to get there.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna die. And Magnotta was back in the news again in June of this year, 2017, because he announced that he was getting married on June 26th to another inmate, Anthony Jolin. Congratulations, Anthony.
Found yourself a real winner there.
Who is also a convicted killer.
Yeah, they're made for each other.
Serving his own life sentence. And may I remind you that a life sentence is 25 years, no more, no less. So if you fucking take out an entire village full of people, you'll be out.
Well, but he's up for parole in 25 years. So
yeah, but
if he doesn't get parole, like if they deny him, then he stays in jail, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But they'll probably accept it because this is Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
And I know what you guys are thinking. Did they get to consummate their marriage? No, they did not. But that's not to say they won't, because they have a trailer, a cottage.
There's a cottage.
And whoever drops the soap in the shower.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're in different prisons.
I don't know,
because he had joined up for a another thing they have in prison. I don't know if you guys know this, but they have an inmate.
Tinder?
An inmate Tinder, basically. Dating
they call
site.
it jailer.
Jailer. Swipe left or right if you want to get murdered.
Might as well just be Grindr at that point.
Yeah.
It's, do you want to be raped or do you want to actually enjoy it?
So
they're from two different prisons.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So I know the way that works. So what's the point? So you date?
It's attention.
Like maybe I could be wrong, and I read it wrong, but I thought that I read two different prison names, or saw two different ones because I couldn't really read them because they were French names.
Maybe he's trying to get transferred right now over to Luca's cushy prison with pizza night and
with the pizza nights.
And he's seen more movies than I have. So shit.
Probably watches 365 movies a year.
One of Magnotta's ex-girlfriends, she said it's just a cry for attention. It's just him trying to find attention again while he's stuck in prison.
This is a crazy cry for attention.
Well, all throughout.
You mean like while he's in prison?
No, yeah, just the marriage thing is the attention seeking.
Well, because I thought you meant the whole thing. I guess it was too, though. Never mind, it was too.
It brought him back into the news again.
Yeah.
Charles Manson recently got married too in prison. Maybe a year ago.
But didn't he, like, isn't that marriage already done?
It could be.
I think it's already done because he's like, she just wanted, because it's the same thing, but it was her wanting to get attention for marrying Charles Manson.
Yeah.
She just wanted sex. And I need more than that.
She just wanted my body.
She wouldn't carve a swastika into her forehead, though. Marriage was over.
She said she'll carve the swastika in her ring finger, but not her forehead. Everybody knows where I need the trust to be in the forehead.
See, Charles Manson is a good example of a sentence sticking, even though Charles Manson didn't physically perform any of the acts because he was the mastermind. He suffered for it, and he's spending more time in prison than Luka Magnotta is going to spend in prison for his act.
Oh, definitely.
Potentially, yes.
Even though he didn't actually raise a finger, which is pretty amazing.
Well, he's just a very convincing speaker.
Yeah.
He should have like had a super church. That's what he should have had.
Yeah, and that's not a like
Joel Osteen. Charles Manson could have been Joel Osteen.
Well, look at Jonestown. That's the same type of deal there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And with any strange, crazy cult, there was that cult in Japan where they were making fucking sarin gas, and like poisoning people, and they were building an army basically to. Then there was in Jonestown, Waco.
Yeah. I actually just recently watched all those documentaries, the Unabomber and everything.
Yeah.
Oklahoma and stuff, and Ruby Ridge. Well,
Jonestown's a pretty crazy one. Do you know a lot about that?
Drinking the Kool-Aid?
Well, yeah, just the whole how it all went down. How it all went down when that senator visited and found that people wanted to leave. Mm-hmm. So he took a bunch of them away, but then Jones had his followers kill the senator.
Yeah,
and
before he could get out of the country. Yeah.
And then it basically went back and said everything was falling apart, and it wasn't Kool-Aid, it was Flavor Aid.
You can't get Kool-Aid in South America.
That's what gets you to flavor country.
So yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, everybody, let's kill ourselves." And so that's the way it went.
Give it to the kids first, and then you guys have it.
Yeah, fucked up. And that would have been the same kind of deal as Charles Manson if he really wanted to scale, and because he had a small cult following, but
they were into killing other people. Because his plan was. The Beatles, through the White Album, said that there was going to be a race war between the blacks and the whites. And the blacks were going to win, but they wouldn't know how to rule the world. So Manson and his family, they would have to show the black people how to rule the world. And that's his whole thing.
That's all he was doing? Oh.
So the race war was called Helter Skelter.
Yeah.
And that's how he was starting it.
Well, there you go.
Well, should we do... I'm going to start doing plugs now, I think. Because I haven't done them on any episodes, and we're up to like 40 listens on the last one right now, as at the time of this recording.
Plug away.
Yeah. So we got a Facebook group. So just go on Facebook and search for Canada's Crawlspace or at Canada's Crawlspace. You'll probably find it faster. Instagram is at Canada's_Crawlspace. And then subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud. Make sure you rate and review us on iTunes because that's how we get traffic. That's how
I
iTunes
haven't even done that yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, all three of us should be. All three of us should do that.
I'm going to.
Let's get some. Do that. And if you're gonna review, like, you don't even have to say anything. Like, just give us 5 stars because that's
just lie.
Yeah. Who cares? but tell us how the weather is on that day that you're. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's just the traffic that matters.
And for the Halloween special, continue to send us ghost stories. If you haven't.
Yeah, that's a big one because I only have a handful right now.
Well, I have one.
You have some. Yeah,
I have one. Do you have one?
I have none.
My dad's got a couple from the school he works at.
Nice.
So I'm going to get him to write them out, send it in.
I have a couple of personal ones.
Yeah.
I need to find a picture. I need to find this one picture I took one time. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we can post that up onto the Facebook page
and
the Instagram and
somewhere
find
there.
He painted his balls like a ghost.
One is taller than the other.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah, so try to stay alive till next time.
Yeah, and fucking be cool.